Hey, everybody, it's Tim Hinton, the Beast of the Marching Arts. Thank you so much for being here. We are live with Shane Gwaltney, everybody, from Synced Up Design. Shane, how are you?
Good, Tim. How about yourself?
I am doing great. Everybody, we are going to be talking about the DCI scholarships that Marching Arts Education is giving away this year. Very excited to be giving away 4 $1,000 scholarships. I'm going to explain to you how that works. And Shane, you're here because Synced Up Designs is sponsoring one of those $1,000 scholarships. So thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, man. Appreciate the opportunity. It's great.
Absolutely. So thanks again for watching this, whether you're watching live or you're watching later. I really appreciate you seeing this. Here, I want to explain to you how this is working. We're talking about the DCI scholarships that Marching Arts Education is giving away. And Shane is here because Synced Up Design is one of the sponsors of one of those. So let me tell you a little bit about how this works. Between now and March 28th, anybody that's marching in a DCI Corps in 2022 can apply. We also asked that they have a ambition to be a marching art educator. And I think that's probably almost everybody that marches DCI because, you're going to go back and work with your local band or your local drumline or your guard or whatever. Most people do that if they're that interested enough to be a marcher. And then round 1 of voting, where everybody gets to help us to choose our top 20, that's going to happen between March 31st and April 13th. Round 2, where we select the winners, is going to be April 18th through 24th. All this happens at marchingartseducation.com. And then the winner will be announced on Monday night, April 25th. One of the people that will be there to announce that night, the one and only Shane Gwaltney, because Shane, like I said, Synced Up Designs sponsoring one of those. You have something on your website about this, right?
We do. Yeah, we're able to put it up there, a link. It goes directly back to your site for everybody to register. But on there, we give away a free month of music chunks along with a free download also of a lot of our exercises for battery and winds that are on the site.
So you mean free stuff just for going to your website at Synced Up Design and clicking on the link that talks about the picture that talks about Marching Arts Education scholarships?
Mm-hmm. Everybody loves free stuff, man. So.
Free stuff, everybody. So go to Synced Up Designs. Not only can you find a link to our site where you can apply for the scholarship, or if you know somebody, let them know. But also you get some free stuff from Synced Up Designs. So Shane, you're doing great work there. So thank you so much for being a part of what we're doing.
Yeah, Tim, thanks for the opportunity. I know that, over the years, a lot of us have taught drum corps and kind of been in and out of it. And especially with this past couple of years, been in and out of it, literally. That an opportunity to kind of give back and give another performer an opportunity to do their thing during the summer is why we all do this. So again, thanks for the opportunity. And, one of the main reasons that I think people should be able to sponsor something like this, if given the opportunity, is just seeing the performer grow from before move-ins or even back from auditions to what it ends up in August. They're all different human beings by the end, and they're all so much more stronger physically, mentally. You name it. You could almost take on the world when you end a tour. So any opportunity we have to kind of give a performer that opportunity to do that and at least alleviate some of the stress that we all have financially with just trying to do it. I'm all in.
It's not a cheap thing to do, everybody. But of course, if you compare it to like a typical summer camp where you go away to soccer camp for a week or two, it's actually quite a steal to spend the whole summer on the road getting all this education every single day. But
it actually is. Yeah.
We know it's expensive, so we're trying to help out. And I tell you, Shane, one of the first things we talked about when we started the podcast, and then especially when we started Marching Arts Education, which is our video site and webinar site, is we're like, we want to make sure we're giving back however we can to marchers. Our ambitions are big to give lots and lots of money back. So everybody go to Marching Arts Education and sign up for a membership, and that'll help us be able to do this. But by the way, if you're watching, please say hello and tell us where you're watching from. By the way, Shane, somebody watching on Facebook says, "Congrats, Shane, on the WGI Hall of Fame."
Yes, that is coming up. Yeah, it's thank you.
That's awesome.
One of those things that we were nominated to be inducted for the year COVID shut down. So we've been kind of sitting on this for about 2 years, and I'm excited about it, honored, humbled, whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So everybody, I'm here with Shane Gwaltney from Synced Up Design because Synced Up Designs is sponsoring one of the 4 $1,000 scholarships that Marching Arts Education is giving away to DCI marchers, and Shane is so excited about that. So in case anybody's watching, they don't know what Synced Up Designs is, fill them in. What do you, because you guys do like almost everything, right? Like if I need something, you probably got it.
We do. We have a catalog of marching band shows, indoor wind shows, indoor percussion shows. Along with that, we do uniforms, costuming, floors, flags, props. We manufacture the props, speaker carts, audio carts now, drill design, visual design, program coordinating. I think one of our biggest assets that we do, we help out those programs that don't necessarily have a dedicated program coordinator. We kind of become that for them. Whether we're actually designing their show or not, we're able to kind of put their aesthetic together for them. Yeah, and just make it a one-stop shop from end zone to end zone. You know, we want to make sure that we're able to kind of help out the band director and yeah, help them spend more time teaching and directing and doing all that versus, you know, spending time on the phone talking to 5 different manufacturers and
Yeah.
arrangers and things like that. So yeah, it's been good, and it's been very fulfilling, and we're growing every day.
That's awesome. And listen, everybody, most band directors out there, most people trying to put their marching band show together are like a one-man show. Maybe they have a percussion instructor, maybe they have a guard instructor, maybe they have parents that are helping out, maybe they don't. So Shane, any way that we can get help to them, I'm all about. By the way, everybody, if you want to see Shane in action with his team, 2 of his team members from Synced Up Designs, we just did a webinar recently called Tips for Ordering to Get Your Stuff on Time. We all need those tips to get our stuff on time. So Shane, that webinar is up at our website at Marching Arts Education. Anybody can go and watch that.
Yep, that was a good one because I mean, we all go through it. So we all run around with our hair on fire until somebody, you know, wants to douse water on it, right? So hopefully we're able to alleviate some of that from folks by getting more information out in front of people, so that when they're trying to prepare for fall coming up, they're not waiting to the last second and they're not making rushed design choices just to get a product and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Never goes well when you're in a panic and you just got to find something to throw on your guard. That never works out well, everybody. Okay. I can just tell you from experience, that is not the way to do it. Not that I ever did that myself, but I have clients. Maybe I did. I don't know. I have to think back. But everybody, we're talking about the Marching Arts Education scholarships, for $1,000 scholarships that we are giving away to DCI marchers this year. Anybody just go to marchingartseducation.com. Right there on the first page, the big graphic, apply here for the scholarship. Or you can go to Shane's site at Synced Up Designs, where you can not only get the link to the scholarship, but get some free stuff. Like you get to sign up for some cool free stuff from Shane. So Shane, thanks for doing that. I mentioned a minute ago when I was talking about the scholarship that the other thing that we hope that the scholarship is for marchers who also want to be marching arts educators. And I sort of said this in passing when I asked you about it. I do think that if you are into the marching arts enough to want to be in a DCI corps, go to all that trouble, have that great experience. First off, a lot of them are planning to be band directors or instructors as their career, or designers or arrangers or whatever they're going to be. But I think most everybody in a DCI corps, my guess would be, it's going to help out in some way. They're going to go back to their hometown, their local band, their local indoor drumline, whatever, and they're going to help out. And that's a marching arts educator. Would you agree with that premise that most of them will?
I would assume so. There's always a yearning, right? And there's always an opportunity, or people want to be able to pass on the knowledge that they get through either higher education or experience, and be able to kind of pass the torch, right? And whether you're going to go off and be a band director or, you know, an administrator of sorts, that, you know, being a tech somewhere is where we all get started. And at that point in time, you learn your passion, or you learn to apply that work ethic somewhere else sometimes, you know. But it's definitely a good way and a good fire starter for directors to know, hey, this person's got experience. Hopefully they can bring some of that to my program. And I know in the past there's always been you know, people kind of shy away from hiring people in the drum corps, but they're the people that know how to make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Making sure that you're able to really, the work ethic, really, and like the higher understanding of tolerance and what clean is, and like really setting a standard. Because you know, I never marched drum corps. I was just in college, and I did Mystique and kind of been around that. So it took me a little bit longer in my mid-20s before I really understood the type of work ethic that takes to achieve those high levels. and you can get that out of the gate with somebody who's marched, immediately. So
yeah, and of course the same is true if they've marched at a WGI color guard or indoor. I mean, of course, you get that same sort of intense experience. But I do think DCI marchers tend to want to give back, and yeah, I think that thing about not wanting to march drunk with people, I think that's a thing of the past for the most part. Like I feel like everybody now knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's great education.
That was back in the day when everybody was like lifting buses because they lost and turned over, and
no, that Shane,
fired the stadium.
Perish the thought. He's just joshing everybody. That
for sure, yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about the 4 DCI scholarships, $1,000 each to 4 different marchers in any section. Anybody can apply that's in a DCI Corps this year. Now, Shane, this week's episode of Marching Arts Now, anybody can find at the Marching Roundtable YouTube channel or on our website. Marching Arts Now is sort of like a video talk show where we have some special. This week we had a really interesting discussion with some WGI percussion marchers, some WGI color guard marchers, and they're like, well, what do you think is the hardest thing about drumming? And they're like, what do you think is the hardest thing about color guard? And they sort of compared notes back and forth. Well, Jonathan Moore, the center snare of Music City Mystique, was on the conversation. By the way, he represented you guys very well. He was really smart. And did you? I guess you didn't watch it yet, but it will be out before the end of the week. Everybody can watch the recording that will be edited. But Shane, he was talking about he thinks that Music City Mystique has the hardest drill in WGI. He's talking about some sort of flying across the floor, playing triplet rolls. Like this sounds really you're
well, sure. I mean, we all want to think that we're putting the content out there and the skill sets to get the points, right? But sure, yeah, we got the hardest.
Well, if there's any DCI and WGI march judges watching, I mean, I don't know, maybe you have the hardest drill. I don't know. But the point was, that sounds really hard. Like playing a really clean triplet roll as a group while you're flying across the floor. Like, come on. I mean, are you really? That's a lot.
Well, it is. I mean, and one thing that people forget is like you have to be able to march and control the drum so it stays on a flat surface. So when you're playing, you're not trying to hit a moving target, right? So there's a lot more control with your body and just a lot of physical training that takes place before you can even play the drum, play it well on the move at like most independent groups do. Yeah.
Well, there's also something about, I asked him, what's the hardest thing in the show? And that's one of the things he mentioned. But the other thing he said there's this thing where there's chairs and like the chairs have to turn at the same time. He had to do something with his hat. And I was like, this just sounds really hard. So like there's hats and chairs this year.
There is. Yeah. Our show is called Come Hell or High Water. And it's based off of an old type church revival, traveling tent revivals. And we use bluegrass and some cool gospel in there to kind of really create a really high energy show. And we use chairs as part of, our congregation being on the floor, kind of thing. And we're able to kind of manipulate those and create interesting staging opportunities and use them for choreography. And of course, they have hats on that the entire ensemble uses for character development, along with an interesting choice for an additional use of choreography. So it's been really great. You're muted. Can't hear you.
Sorry, everybody. I was muting myself and I was sitting here frantically in the background because I have a picture of your very cool like uniform that you're wearing this year somewhere. I was trying to see if I could find that. If I can find that before we're done, everybody, I'll pull that up. If that's okay with you, Shane.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about the DCI scholarships, for $1,000 scholarships, and Shane from Synced Up Designs is very nice enough for them to be sponsoring one of those. So Shane, again, thank you so much for doing that. He will be there, everybody, on April 25th, Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, when we announce the winners. Shane, you'll be there to announce the winner of the Synced Up scholarship. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, man, me too. It's gonna be great.
By the way, we haven't talked about music chunks yet, because that's the other thing you have that's going on that's really very cool. So you just want to explain what that is?
Sure. Yeah. So when COVID happened, everybody was kind of like searching, trying to find that next thing. We clearly had a little more time on our hands, as most people did. And we chose to dive into a really killer project called musicchunks.com. And what it is a platform for virtual learning for the marching and the visual arts. And we pay our publishers and our creators through a streaming platform. So same way, Spotify, YouTube, whatever pays, we do the exact same thing, but we use content that our creators are making. So they at least get a little bit of kickback for students using it, directors using it for content to use in their classroom. The cool thing about it is there's a lot of music on there that goes with videos of people playing or ensembles demonstrating or just lessons. There's music stores on there that have product pages that you can kind of see what they're doing, how they're doing it, that kind of thing. People that give video lessons that are up there, full catalogs of those. So yeah, lots of killer stuff that's up there. Groups like Music City Mystique. There's a few others up there that have their show music up there from the years past. So now students can kind of get on there and play chunks and really cool phrases of what the groups are doing. You know, that's how you learn nowadays versus back in the day. We all had to share VHS recordings, ship them to everybody, and you had to, get both VHS recorders up, and you had to, record the video, then send it back to the person that had it, just so you'd have like a really cool lot video. And now you don't necessarily have to do all that the way YouTube and everything else works. Everything is like live right in front of you. But we wanted to come up with a way that creators are actually getting paid for the work versus getting ripped off online or PDFs being stolen, that kind of thing. So it's all able to live up there, and the creators able to put their content, and people are able to use it in a virtually, active way. Especially think about a middle school. This is the last thing I'll say on this. A middle schooler, when they join middle school band, typically they've got, they got to go to a practice room. They've got metronome. They're like told they got to practice something, and the experience is a little stale. And what we want to do is provide a platform that even the youngest student can be interacting with, because they've all, by this time, all had iPhones, iPads in front of their faces since they were really young. So our goal is to kind of merge that technology and that experience so that when they are using and learning music, they all have video elements and a cool audio track to play behind them while they're doing it. So just trying to merge their experience of what they've grown up with where we want, technology to go in the future.
Yeah, it's really smart. I mean, we're trying to engage our students, and imagine, they might practice a little bit more at home, spend a little more time if they're playing along with some really cool.
Exactly. It's a motivator for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that, for sure. It's very, very neat. Where do they find Music Chunks?
musicchunks.com, or if they want a free month, they can go to syncedupdesigns.com and click on the marching arts sponsor page for the scholarship, and then you'll find the link to the scholarship page along with the Music Chunks free code that you'll see that's up there, and another link that gives you just PDFs of exercises for free.
Free stuff, everybody, from Shane Gwaltney and his team at Synced Up Designs. That's really cool. So we're talking about the Marching Arts Education scholarships. There are 4 $1,000 scholarships for DCI marchers. Anybody that's marching the DCI Corps this year in 2022 is eligible. If you go to Synced Up Designs, there's a little graphic right there on the home page. Click on that. Not only will it give you a link to apply for the scholarship, but like you said, you can sign up for that free month of Music Chunks. You can be playing along with Music City Mystique, jamming out at home within the hour. I mean, come on. As soon as this is over, you can go there and click on that. Shane, I think that's very cool. Thank you for partnering with us to make the scholarship possible. Again, we want to give back to those marchers because we know how much marching and music has meant to us.
100%. And that's why you do it. It's why we all do it, right? You want to find an opportunity to be able to give back. You got to keep feeding it. So
yeah, well, anyway, congratulations to whoever's going to win, and for everybody that's marching. We hope that many, many people will apply. We're excited to be giving away these 4 scholarships. And Shane, thanks again for being a part of this whole thing. Everybody, if you're watching this, go to marchingartseducation.com, and you can find all the information about the scholarship. Again, I'll reiterate, the registration is now until March 28th. Anybody can apply. Doesn't cost anything at all. You just answer some questions, fill out the form, upload a picture of yourself. Round 1 of voting, where everybody votes to find the top 20. That's just how many people can you get to vote for you. That's March 31st through April 13th. And round 2 of voting is April 18th through 24th, where we find our 4 finalists who are going to win. And then we announce on April 25th. So Shane, thank you again for doing this. Thanks to Synced Up Designs for the great work you're doing, helping band directors and their teams out there have better shows, less stress, more time teaching their kids, less stress trying to put their shows together. I love that you're doing that.
Appreciate the opportunity, Tim. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Go to Synced Up Designs, find the graphic for the scholarship to get that free stuff from Synced Up Design, including a month at Music Chunks, and go to our website and apply for the scholarship. Thanks, Shane. I appreciate you talking to me.
Yep. Thanks. See you guys.
Thanks, everybody.